This is the Tastemakers.
Talk to me, good, yeah. Plug talk.
Radio.
Really on the plug, really on the plug.
What up, what up? This is another episode of Plug Talk. And of course, we are at Dash Radio on Hollywood Boulevard. We are in this, and I am with someone very special, very cool that I just met. Oh my God.
Listen, this is new. This is
fresh.
This is super fresh right now.
Right off the press.
Right.
Dang.
Right.
I
Listen.
look, I got my guy, Mr. Garfield Adams.
What's up, Los Angeles?
Where's the buttons?
Where the buttons at?
Oh,
Hit the
yeah.
button. Hit the button. Where the button at? I love it. What's up, V?
Nothing much, man. I mean, it has been a refreshing week for me. I just got off of vacation.
Talk about it.
In the Bahamas, in Miami.
How long were you there?
I was there for about, 3 days in Miami and 3 days in the Bahamas.
Oh, you got it in.
Yep.
First time on a plane post-COVID situation?
Yeah, you know what? It's been about 2 years since I was supposed to take this trip.
Okay.
It was for my 30th birthday, but then COVID happened. So, of course, it was a bummer because we had to rebook everything and whatnot. So, anyways.
Well, happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
I mean,
it was
happy 30th a year ago.
2 years ago.
2
I'm
years ago.
32 now. I feel like it's been ages.
Man.
I got some gray hairs over time, but
Knock
you know.
Knock it off. I got gray
they're
hairs.
in these braids. So.
Knock it off. Your braids got that fresh Bahama tan right now.
Yo, I
that.
know. My native colors are coming out. Let me tell you. People are like, "Are you black?
said native colors.
Are you what is it? Black facing?" I'm like, "No, this is my color. That's how dark I am." I was like, "No."
Yeah.
They thought it was a filter. No, I got a comment. I was like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "No, these are my real native colors.
They
I'm
thought you was
Mexican."
Kim Kardashian in it right now.
Right? I guess
faking.
I guess when I put braids in my hair too, it's like, okay.
Oh yeah, they
You're
thought you was
what?
appropriating 100%. They was trying to cancel
Not
you
at
like on a quick
all.
fly.
Well,
Nah.
especially because when you're not going on vacation that long through the pandemic, it's like I got a little wider, you know?
Well, on top of that too, you want to put your hair up. So what's the protective style that I can do with my hair so that I'm not having to worry about it?
Yeah.
I'm spending however much time to, I want to enjoy the vacation. So let me put my hair up so I can do my thing. I feel you.
Also, I'm in from my roots are Mexican, so the indigenous culture
Yeah,
is
the
in my
bronze.
blood.
Yeah,
you
the
know,
bronze comes
so
out.
naturally.
Let that sun hit you and that bronze come out. That's dope.
Yeah. So, okay, so for everybody listening, thank you for tapping in again. And Mr. Adams here.
Yeah, you can, Mr.
What do you
Adams.
go by? What is your nickname?
I get all kinds of things. I get Garfield Adams. I get GA. I get Mr. Adams. I get G.
The
You get all
GA.
kind of, You're not hip hop if you don't got 50 nicknames.
Keep it 100.
Isn't that right?
That was dope.
I know. I'm getting the rhythm of trying to interview people and push the buttons,
hit the buttons at
trying
the
to
same time.
engineer, trying to do everything at the same time. So if you hear something a little off, it's just me learning.
No, listen, you do. I have learned in the short time that I've known you that you do everything, so that makes sense.
I try.
Adobe Premiere, Final Cut Pro, Audition.
Final Cut Pro.
You are, man.
Shout out to all the hustlers out there, everybody working, grinding. It is about the journey. It is about the process. And it's going to take time. And it's taking me a lot of time. I still don't have my shit together, but, it's coming together.
That's
I'm
the
helping
journey.
other people do it while I learn what I'm doing. So.
Well, that's the thing. We're not talking
Yeah.
about perfection. We're talking about effort. And I think that's the main thing is keep putting your effort in. This is not
sure.
about being perfect. This is about just keep going and keep being
Yeah.
willing to build and grow and learn. And that's the whole
exactly. I'm going to play some music in the background. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what you do. You're
Yeah.
an engineer.
Yeah.
You guys didn't hear, but before the show, he was doing some bars. He was rapping. He was singing. He wasn't afraid of the mic. I was like, oh, okay. You belong having your own podcast.
It goes back to one of my friends reaching out to me and saying, "Yo, man, we would see each other at the homie Tommy's house. Shout out to Tommy Brown, Bill Brown, all the Dina cats." And that was like the after school spot. John Muir, Pasadena, all the Pasadena high schools, all these cats would get together, and there was always freestyle in there. So that was the first group that I was ever in, was a group called Crush Grapes. And I didn't even really know that I could rap, you know what I mean? But I got to link up with a couple of homies, and one thing leads to another. I've always kind of had it. I'm the extrovert. So while I wasn't necessarily the athletic dude, I wasn't the smartest dude. I was the guy that never was shy. When it was like when the teacher would ask you to read, I was the dude that was like, "Sure, I'll read the next 12 paragraphs."
Yeah, you weren't shy.
Yeah, I wasn't shy.
See, I was kind of like that too. I was out of my family, out of my siblings. I was always the one to go ask for, "Can we get the check or a toothpick?" Like my dad always wanted toothpicks. He's
where the mints?
Yeah, I'll go grab them. No problem.
My grandmother implemented this thing called quiet time when I was a kid because she, rest in peace, grandma. She used to always talk about, like, I would wake up first thing in the morning and want to ask her all these questions. Grandma, what's a mountain? Why is the mountain there? Why is the sky blue?
Yeah.
She was like, listen, baby, from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, you can't talk to grandma. Grandma need her space. After you got me for whatever you need, but for now, and that was like Young and the Restless, you know what I mean, whatever her
Days of Her Lives,
Days of Her Lives, Another World, you know what I'm saying?
Novellas.
Price is Right, whatever she was checking out, baby, I'm gonna need for you to be quiet. But I've always been an outspoken, so it's like microphone, public speaking, being on stage, being in front of people, that was always the place where I felt comfortable. And having this history with hip hop, being a hip hop baby, you know, golden era hip hop baby, it was always about how dope your voice sounded. When you listen to some of the dopest MCs in history, you've got your Black Thoughts and you've got your Busta Rhymes and you've got your Redmans, and all of these cats had amazing voices. Queen Latifah had this very powerful voice. So it was always about the voice.
Yeah.
And so I really...
Heather B.
I
love Heather B.
Look at you out here.
Oh, she's my girl.
Shout out to Heather B.
Shout out to her. I always listen to her on the Happy Hour.
Yes.
On Sirius, but
that's dope.
Yeah.
And that's what
I
it was about.
Met her one time with Sway. Shout out to them. They always have the best morning show together. Their chemistry is fire.
Absolutely. No question. And when they get great guests, that makes it even doper. You know what I'm saying?
They just have good energy, especially when you're waking up in the morning. You're like, oh, I don't want to go to work.
And so then with that, that's kind of my thing. My thing is like, I genuinely enjoy talking to people.
Yeah.
My 9th grade humanities teacher told me I talk to hear myself talk, and he's like, that kind of stuck with me. I enjoy my voice. So rapping was dope, and you know, being self-conscious on the microphone. How do I sound next to the homies? So I spent a lot of time developing this microphone presence, and I got cool with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I love, you know, and I love teaching and love helping. So podcasting, you know, anything in the public, being on stage, being in front of a group, none of that is, I've never been intimidated.
Yeah. No, so I mean, for everybody listening out there, what do you think is something, if they want to get more comfortable to be in front of people, especially now, because no one's been around each other. Now we're all going out to public places, especially after not having masks.
Yes.
It's kind of weird. So,
girl, my paranoia is at a million right now.
Do you still wear a mask?
I got a mask in my back pocket. Playing no games.
You know what's interesting is when you're traveling, when you're out of California, out of the U.S., people wear masks.
They're not playing.
But then you come back to Miami, so I had to take a layover flight back from the Bahamas to Miami. Once I got into Miami, no one was wearing masks. So it's just kind of weird to see the two differences of how people are.
Americans and their, you know, and I, as a dude who's never really traveled outside of the country, you kind of hear these things that your non-American born homies talk about, and it's just this, you know, perception of what our rights are and what we should be able to do versus, you know, some of the Chinese homies are like, yo, no, I remember growing up and being in public school or driving around Arcadia or driving around San Marino and seeing my Asian homies' families wear masks all the time.
Are you from there?
No, I've lived there for a while.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, it's one of those things you didn't understand as a kid in the city, and you're saying, why are they wearing masks? Like, you're in your own car, why are you in a mask?
Yeah.
And not necessarily that this was related to that, but it was just a foreign thing to us, whereas like, sometimes we don't have the worldly view, so it's hard for us to understand the view, and sometimes there are things that we take for granted as Americans because of our rights and our privileges and it's just kind of hard for us to understand other people's perspectives. And so I still see cats like some of my friends from, you know, some of my Nigerian homies, they still rocking masks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm just
to each its own.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I do that I did see or hear from the flight attendants and the airlines and people is respect the people around you.
Correct.
No matter where you're from. If someone wants to wear a mask or doesn't want to wear a mask, you have to just be respectful of their decision.
Ultimately, I think that's the overarching lesson is just kind of coming from this place of mutual respect of each other. My space is my space, but at some point my space will infringe on your space, and I should be mindful of that.
Right.
So That's the bigger thing.
So
for
let's talk a little bit about. We talked about you starting your podcast potentially
Right,
because you
right.
got the voice for it. I mean, you do engineering and mixing
Yes.
and all of that. What is on the menu moving forward with your career?
Well, my homegirl Valerie, shout out to the homie Val. This girl that I met at Phil's Coffee. I worked at Phil's Coffee for a minute.
Oh, I love Phil's.
Oh man,
the mint mojito.
Mocha Tesora. Give me some.
Mocha Tesoro. That's the chocolatey one,
Listen, problem. That's a problem. The homie Val, she always asked me these super deep questions, and even our time together at Phil's, she would always ask me these super introspective questions. And so one day she says, can I dare you to do something? And I was like, sure. She was asking her friends to like do a series of dares, and you could decline or accept or whatever. So I'm like, sure. She's like, you've been talking about doing this podcast for a minute. I dare you to sit down and not think about it and don't prepare for it. Just turn on your microphone and record.
Yeah.
And because pre-pandemic, upgraded microphone, upgraded my vocal chain. So like there's dope gear in my space.
Yeah.
But it's just all, this,
Do you know who this is?
Come on, man. This is Mobb Deep.
Yep.
Child, you taking me back.
I like beats in the back of my interviews.
Oh, good
I don't
Lord.
know. I have to be careful though because of license rights and all that. But
you gotta be careful because I might start rapping.
Yeah. Oh, you will rap today. so don't tune out quite yet because he has a
She
few
gonna put me on the
bars.
spot.
Yeah, exactly.
Valerie was like, I dare you to record. And I was like, sure, I got it. She's like, okay,
Yeah.
can I give you a timeline? So, because we're trying not to say deadline because of this idea of, I can't remember the link she sent me,
Right.
but this idea that when you say you have a deadline, it's, your words are powerful. So it's like, okay, from the moment this thing leaves my desk, it's not dead. It actually takes on another life. So why would I say deadline, right?
Ooh, oh my gosh.
I forget the
Dropping
dude's-
gems.
I forget the cat's name.
I like that.
I forget the cat's name. So when she shared that with me, I'm trying to take deadlines. So
Yeah.
she's like, can I give you a timeline? I was like, sure. She said, okay, by Sunday, 7 p.m., you need to have your first episode recorded.
Yeah.
So I just turned on. And the first episode...
So that's not called a deadline.
That's not a deadline.
That is called
It's just a timeline. She just
a
kind of gave me a
timeline.
timeline, a
Yeah.
due date. She gave me a
A life.
perspective, a life.
It could be a life
lifeline. Could
for
be a
your
lifeline.
product.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's like fueling up your car.
Yes.
You got to fuel this project.
Yes. And so your words
To
are powerful.
continue doing more.
Got to be careful
I like
what
that.
words you put on.
Yeah.
Got to be careful the words you put on your ideas and your
Yes.
thoughts and your intentions and your plans
Yeah.
because that's when these ideas are still babies, right?
Yeah.
You don't let your babies go around
Yeah.
every energy.
No.
Right? So
They need milk.
Your ideas
Babies need milk.
Babies need milk.
They need
babies
nurturing.
Need nourishment.
Yeah.
So you got to be mindful of the words you use, right?
Yes.
So anyway,
Yeah.
so I'm trying to, put my head around this kind of like audio centric, self-help kind of podcast, not necessarily, and it's not really, it's only audio centric because I use audio related terms because I explain things in terms of audio.
Yeah.
But
He's
really
very
it's-
technical, guys. I've learned.
No, my cat's in the room right now, the technical ones. I'm trying to be like them when I grow
Shout
up.
out to our guys.
Shout out to our crew,
What
yeah.
are their names again?
Yo, I got my man Tim over here. Look at that with the big boy voice.
Yeah, he does have a big boy voice.
I got my man Ben on camera 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
My man Paper over in the corner. He's the chief. He's the boss. Shout out to my
Paper's
man Paper.
the plug.
Paper is you're the plug.
I'm be the plug, but
we
also
love him. We love Paper.
Okay, so we do. So to me, everybody is a plug of their own industry, right? So the
Listen.
meaning of plug talk is everybody has to be wired a certain way to perform and get what they want in their career. And to those who actually do it and live it are the plug. A plug has to plug into an outlet and then create power and light and be wired in a certain way. So
You don't got a gems
that's what
button?
it is.
You hit the
I
gems
know.
button.
It's hard to talk because I also talk with my hands. So then to do this and that and this,
Come on, that's fire.
it's a lot of energy. But I'm working on it. I'm gonna be doing this and this and this.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that idea.
Yes.
Everyone is the plug.
Exactly.
And everyone needs to find their outlet.
Exactly. And that's kind of what we're talking about right now,
Right.
where I think people could do multiple things.
Right.
But like you said, we can't give it deadlines. We have to
Right.
give it another life,
A lifeline.
better energy, more
Yep.
power,
Yep.
and set a timeline for
Yep.
it. So
Yep.
I love that
Yep.
about what you just said about your podcast.
I love what
and-
you just said about being
plug.
the plug, yo, and finding my outlet.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to
exactly.
So that's the idea. Then that's the whole
Yeah.
point of the show. I've got these episodes together.
Yeah.
And the whole point was me talking to myself, and it's not about necessarily your skill in any
Mm-hmm.
particular. It's not about your skill. it's about your mindset, and it's about your intention, and it's about, you know, the things that the conversations that you have with yourself to keep going, to become the person you need to become, who can then grow. You can't just expect success to land on you. You have to grow into the person who can manage your level of success.
Oh yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Is I'm not talking about your ability to do the thing you do. It's like, who are you and how do we get you to the place? What's your mentality? What are your habits? What are your thought processes? What's the energy around you? What are the things that you say about yourself? What are the things you say about your craft? If we can change those things, then we can change your mind and your intention, and then we can speak different things into existence. And that's what I'm trying to do with the podcast.
Ooh. So what is it that you do for yourself? How do you self-talk to yourself?
Sometimes when like if I make a mistake, I might say something like, "You idiot." Well, I don't want to say that to myself anymore. So like, my wife sent me this link from. Oh man,
shout out to wifey.
She's the reason why.
What's her name?
Her name is Camille. Camille. Shout out to Camille. She sent me this Abraham Hicks video, and we got to talking about this video, and basically, I try to pause myself when I catch myself saying something disparaging about myself. And the way I explained it to her was like, when I post things, you and I were talking about how long it takes me to post something to social media.
Oh yes, we were going down the social media rabbit hole.
Part of that is because I want the image to be just so, but part of that is I want to say the perfect thing, right? So I find myself perfectly curating what I say to the public, but I don't spend that time curating what I say to myself.
Ooh, yeah.
So I want to spend more time watching how I talk to me, right?
I think that's a valid point, because honestly, when I post, I think like, oh, what are people going to think about it? Because I know what I think. It sounds fine to me, but then you second guess yourself and you double think,
is it going to offend someone?
Yeah. But so do you think that you should go with your gut and post what sounds right to you, or do you have to look at it a second time and be like, oh, I think people might like misconstrue it or not understand it? Should I say it another way? Like, should we second guess ourselves, or should we just go with our inner thoughts?
I think it's a balance of both. Like, I think it's always being cautious, right? Like, you know, when there was when we started seeing this string of AAPI attacks, you know, I wanted to go out to my social media and show my Asian community homies like, yo, you already know who I am. So I put something up there. There's a dope picture where I went to my man's birthday party pre-pandemic, and it was me and all Filipino cats, right? And my man's t-shirt, he had this really dope caption on his shirt. And I was like, I pointed it out at the party. And so that was kind of my tribute to my family. And hey, listen, I'm ally. And as I was typing that thing together, I can't tell you how long it took me to type that, because I was worried about offending someone. Right. But then on the flip side, you know, it's like, look, I know my intention. And because I'm cautious like that, I know that if it offends someone, then that's just going to have to be okay. Because you're not going to please everybody.
A lot of learning comes through social media. Once you make a decision to say or post something, it's like, now that's where the learning comes in, but it offends people.
It's going to offend people.
But I think we need to understand that it's there to learn from, and as long as you're acknowledging it at some point and being understanding and real about it, then honest about it.
What I would hope is that you know me well enough. If you follow me on social media, hopefully you know me enough to know that either A, if you took offense to what I said, that you can come holler about me and we can talk about it, or maybe even B, not instantly jump to the negative and not get offended even, because you know me, you know my heart, you know my intention. So just kind of, that's what I try to do. I try to balance that. And it's tough to do sometimes.
Hey, Paper, can I get a liquid too?
Yo,
we got these. This is not a sponsor at all.
But don't want to hold it up.
I know, right? No, this isn't nothing. It's just water. It's water of something that you don't know the name of. But anyways, we're thirsty up in here.
Listen, this is called Liquid Death Sparkling Water.
Oh my God!
Straight from the Alps, and the tagline is this: "Murder your thirst."
Bing. Okay, I give you one sound
Nabisco?
effect.
Did you just put the Nabisco chime on?
Oh yeah, something like that.
Let me crack this
But
thing.
let's see how it tastes.
All right, it just tastes like regular ass sparkling water.
Does it?
Regular ass sparkling water.
Oop, I don't know what that was.
It's just regular. Oh.
Let me see. It's regular.
That was good.
It's a regular.
Ooh, good Lord, that
and
was
it's
good.
the black one.
And it's the black one. What did you say earlier?
The black is the white is regular water, and the black is sparkling. I mean, that's just what I came up with.
Listen, and literally because the white can of liquid death is just regular water.
It is.
And then the black one is literally sparkling water. So when she said it, I don't even think she knows she didn't even know she said
I didn't, but then we both looked at each other. I was like,
white is regular, black is sparkling? It's hilarious.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself, and then I looked at you, and then I triggered your thoughts, I thought.
Hilariousness. So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing, you got a social media following?
Yeah.
How long have you been, what is it that exactly that you do? How long have you been doing it? What's your goal? What's your plan? Where you think you're going with it?
Yeah, man. So actually, I started back in 2013 or 12 with Tastemakers, interning. Went to school. Shout out to Tastemakers. Shout out to Paper.
Shout out to Paper and the
he's sitting
Tastemakers
over
team.
there in the corner. I know he wants to be on the mic, but we got 2 mics right now. And he interviewed me. I got in and I kind of did the work for all these years
That's
up
dope.
until now.
That's dope.
But I also seeked to learn how to, even before podcasting was a thing, I started just to learn on my own, research, do that kind of thing. I also applied to radio stations. I got in at Dash. Well, Tastemakers was already at Dash, but there was another show that was going to have a morning show on, actually in this room. So these mics, this exact setup, this was at the Dream Hotel where I was working the front desk as, checking in people. And I kind of did this contest that shout out to the Baker Boys.
Oh, man, Nick V
and Eric V.
Eric V.
Those are my guys.
Old school cast,
They
man.
actually taught me and inspired me to want to do both. Be the engineer and because they're DJs.
Right.
So they know how to be multifunctional with this equipment
Right.
and stuff. And I didn't know anything about it. All I knew was how to talk and bring the energy. I'm like, okay, what are we doing? So I would get the segments for the show. I would pull some content. And the way Plug Talk came up was, it was my segment. It was kind of all the topics that were trending in Hollywood, entertainment, and honestly, I'm not big on being into pop culture with what's going on with Cardi B or whoever. It's just a lot of work to keep up with all of that. So I was like, well, I'll do it. Fine. This is something to learn. So I would be up at 4 a.m. Morning shows are a lot because you have to wake up pretty early, especially to prepare content and then be ready. So I kind of learned the process back then, and also with Tastemakers, we would have our late evening shows at Dash Radio. So I was kind of doing a few things in radio. I was just going to all the big dogs. I went to iHeartRadio. I went to, do you know who Doc Winter is?
No, I don't.
Doc Winter is the president, or he was the president of urban planning for 92.3.
Oh, word.
So for one of my projects, I interviewed him for school, and I kind of wanted to see how the radio world was. And I love music. I do love people interviewing, but I didn't like the structure of normal radio. I wanted something more authentic, and I started just kind of looking into podcasting, and that's when podcasting was on the come up.
Right.
Not everybody and their moms had a podcast, so I just I went that route, and now I do social media marketing and managing for Tastemakers, of course, and then Straight from the Heart, which is a show on Sirius XM with the LOL network, and I produce the Ladies Room show on the network as well.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, so. Producer, social media, radio host.
Come on, man.
I mean, I'm still learning. It's such a big industry.
It's one of those never-ending, that's an infinitely deep rabbit hole. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I just continued going. Yeah, that's kind of where it all happened.
That's what's up.
But I think it started mainly going back to school because I'm not a school person. I'm a creative. I thought that maybe if I went back, I could figure it out, and I did. So. Yeah, I recommend anybody who is confused. I think that's a big part of your career. When you're trying to decide when you're in school what to do, it's okay to take a break or take a step back because not everybody needs to go to school. And I kind of did that. I took a break and I did financial planning. I did a bunch of stuff. I did other things. I really did. And then I came back to it. So I think when it's your time, it's your time.
I agree with that.
And you have to go with the flow.
That's kind of where I am with, during pandemic time, I edited and mastered my first audiobook. It's just different things because I think, it was tough getting work as an engineer because artists were having such a hard time. I think everyone was having a hard time, but artists, our gig community and, our creatives got hit really, really hard. So, my services are based around their need. And if cats are having a hard, they're not performing any place because, venues are closing down the whole nine. So it was just tough. So me pivoting to more audio-centric, editing-centric type work. And I think
that's so key.
Learning how to pivot is one of the biggest challenges, like really truly learning. It's one of the best things, even me working on this show is a pivot of sorts because it's like, okay, I'm cool to be, sure, I have fun on the microphone, sure. But I feel much more comfortable in an editing audio nerdy capacity. That's my lane. I don't have to be Jordan. I can be Pippen and we'll all still win
I love
rings,
that.
You know what I'm saying? Like Scottie Pippen's in the Hall of Fame and he got 6 rings just like Jordan. You know what I mean? So I thrive in that environment, but sometimes you have to kind of be willing to pivot and kind of go a different way. And when it's time, quote unquote time, when it's time, you'll know and you'll be more open to it. And that's when it starts to come together. And that's what's happened for me.
Yeah, and I never thought I would be producing for 5 other girls.
Wow.
On a major network.
Right.
And I was like, wait, I want to do my own show, but at the same time, just like I learned to do the morning show and do that segment I didn't want to. Like, you're not always going to like what you do, but you gain value from the things that you don't like, kind of thing.
So that's a good question. So where do you draw that line of, some people say, well, no, I kind of want to go into business and kind of do the things that I enjoy doing versus sometimes you're going to work on things or be a part of things that you're not necessarily the most excited about. But that that's something you have to go through. Where do you draw that line? What's the determinant in that for you?
That's a good question. I think when you're not willing, well, honestly, you're not going to always feel like doing it. And you're going to have to push yourself. But I think when you lose touch of the feeling of like continuing to go, like I sat back and I was like, do I find value out of this? Is this gonna help me with my ultimate goal of being a radio host or a talk show host or a TV host one day? Is this gonna add value? You know what? Yes, because if I do end up there, if I do, then I will have the knowledge and the background of knowing how to be a producer. If I'm in the seat of interviewing, then I'm gonna know what my producer needs. I'm gonna know what my editor needs. I'm gonna know. I'm gonna know what my camera guy knows. I'm gonna kind of know it all. So I think it's one of those things. Like, I really respect. Oh my God, is it Pharrell? Pharrell is kind of multi-talented too.
Yes.
He's one that I look up to. But there's someone else who. Oh my God, Nick Cannon.
Oh my gosh.
Nick Cannon's work ethic is crazy.
Don't get me started on Mr. Nick Cannon's work ethic. Him and his 72 kids.
Oh, he has 2 types of work ethics.
Oh, he be working.
One in the bed and then one in his career.
Nick be putting in work.
Yeah.
Where's the bing?
There's the bing. But no, seriously, he definitely inspires me because it's one of those things where we were talking about doing multiple things, but also finding the balance in them.
Balance is key.
You do got to step back and see what a value is added to you. And I think with him, he did the whole acting thing. He's done radio, but I think everything you do kind of gives you a little bit of value, and then you end up in the right place and with the right people. Another part of your question is, I would say, like, if you are doing something that you like, but don't gain value from the people around you, you don't like working with those people, then you need to move on from that because that's not going to really help you. I think building your team and your tribe to get you where you need to go is a huge part of your success.
So then how do you build your tribe? How do you build that? Or maybe even a better question is, do you build your tribe, or do you just attract the people who are supposed to be a part of your tribe? And then
you're doing both.
Got it.
I think that if the energy of the people that you're working with isn't there, if it doesn't work, then it'll become a problem.
Yeah,
you're not gonna feel comfortable. You're not gonna feel like you enjoy what you're doing. And when that happens, when you don't enjoy what you're doing at all, that's when you need to be like, okay, I need to go somewhere else.
When you gotta start asking some questions.
The reason I stayed with Tastemakers, and this is just like straight up, is because for one, I was learning something I had the facility to gain knowledge from, and they were great people. The energy was great. That was the cameraman, guys. He's a sound effect in here.
I was like, I heard that sound. I was like, I didn't see her hit no button, though.
Now I did.
Yay.
No, but that's just straight up honest truth.
I feel that.
It doesn't matter also the amount of money you're making. I mean, it does, obviously, surviving.
Right.
You got to survive. Bills. But
life.
I think that's another hard part of it, is the balance of getting, making a living and doing the things you like for a small amount. And I've been through that. So.
I've been through several situations where I didn't necessarily want to do them, but I needed to do them because I needed those situations for however long or short-lived that's supposed to be, right? But I need this situation right now. And I think sometimes that's a challenge for people. You need, they say do what you got to do. Okay, well, in doing what you got to do, sometimes you're going to be in situations that you don't want to be in, but you absolutely need those situations for your own well-being. I got a family, so it's kind of tough for me to pick and choose whose money I take. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to take your bread. I have to. I really don't. And it's kind of becomes tough to draw that line. So you have to establish certain criteria. Okay, look, I need your money. Here's why I'm not going to take your money because of ABC moral or ABC perspective or whatever. And that's something I think all creatives have. That's a question that everyone's got to ask, because you got to know where you are on either side of that line. Either I need that money and I'm not going to take it, or I really don't want to take that money, but I need it and here's why I'm going to take it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's important to know.
I think being affirmative, is that the word? Affirming to people what you want and what you need. That's something I had to work on, because I hate being so I don't know, what's the word? Asking for things or being very not upfront. What is the word? Not mean. It's not mean. It's just
being direct.
Direct. Yeah. Yes. I had to learn to be more direct.
My man Dave, shout out to my man Dave. Dave always says, always be willing to state what you are willing and what you are not willing to do. And that's the thing. It's like, okay, I'm not willing to do that. I'm willing to do this. Do
you think that having a family pushed you to hustle more or have
question.
A step up of what you want?
Without question. Camille is, Camille's a creative. She's a graphic designer, photographer. And so, I'm thankful that I have this woman in my life who has never put me in that position to be on some okay, bro, you're on the clock. When are you going to give this creative shit up? She's never put me in that position. But I also will say she didn't choose to be in this artist wife capacity. Brooklyn is my daughter. Brooklyn didn't choose to have a creative dad who was going to be locked up in the studio for XYZ amount of hours. But it's my mind says, look, I got dreams and I got ambitions, and there are things that I want to do. I want to be Grammy nominated. I want to make dope records. I want to mix dope records. I want to be a part of the reason why someone's team is successful, because that's the outlet for me. That's the plug. You know what I'm saying, for me. And that requires me to be gone for hours and be locked up in the room and hear music on repeat while I'm mixing this section of a song or whatever. So I definitely think that my family and for me, it's I've done the coffee shop gig. I've done the corporate gig. I've done the business casual gig. I don't really enjoy those things. Those things don't charge my spirit. So the thing that
you tried it all.
Listen, man, customer service.
Charge your spirit. I like that.
Yeah, charge. You gotta keep your spirit charged up.
The more charged up you are, the better the people around you are gonna be. So
without a question.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like, I feel like, okay, I think my purpose is not necessarily to mix records. My purpose is to be a light and a resource to people. How can I be my best self for Brooklyn and Camille, but then also the people that God has placed in my life? How can I be a resource to them if I'm not fulfilled and happy within me?
How can you be of service?
How can I be of service? And
for yourself and for everybody else.
Self-preservation is the first law of nature, so I got to look out for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So first, let me take care of me,
Yeah.
then I can be a better resource to you. And if I am unhappy about the job I have to go to, or if I'm unhappy about the people in my space, how can I go be the best Garfield that I need to be?
Garfield.
Listen.
Hey, what's your rapper name?
I've had a few.
I want to know them. Like Garfeezy. I'm corny as hell.
I've had,
so
Rap, RHAP was the one.
Rap what?
It started as I did this. My man Chill. Shout out to my man Chill. I'm gonna do a lot of shout outs because I got amazing people in my life.
Yes.
My man Chill calls me like, yo, bro, I need a favor.
Yeah.
There's this French artist who just got this deal. She just got signed to Sony France.
Ooh.
And we need like a verse as a placeholder to send to the label. So he called me through. I wrote this song, and I was like, it's some cheesy pop shit out of France. I don't want my name on that shit. So I came up. I was like, I'm gonna call myself Rhapsody. Rap for short.
Rhapsody.
That was kind of like.
Isn't that already? That's Rhapsody.
Well, no, Rhapsody. That was, but it was like rap for short. So I was thinking of the term Rhapsody.
Got it.
And then I shortened it to rap. RHAP.
Okay.
And then they were originally thinking of getting a French artist to put a final vocal in my place, but they ultimately liked my English verse. And that's how I got my first bit of publishing set up.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I just stuck with rap. So all the homies called me Rap. I used to go by Dr. Feelgood back in the day.
I like that.
Yeah, it was, Mr. Feelgood. I had an ecstasy fueled run back in my youth. And so it's just always on my like happy, positive.
Where did you rap first? What was your first like
First time I ever rapped, well, honestly, like waking up my sister. My sister tells these stories of me waking up in the middle of the night and like putting words together. And like she was like, yeah, I remember you used to wake up beatboxing in the middle of the night. And you would wake up rapping, and my mom would come in like, go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? But so Naya tells. Shout out to Naya, my sister. She tells these stories of. So I was like 10, 11 years old.
Aww.
Trying to be like my cousin Derek. You know what I'm saying? Trying to be like this rapper dude.
You know what's funny is as kids, there's things that you do. I don't know. I feel like for myself and then for my sister, there's characteristics and things that you do that are what you're supposed to do later in life. So I would pay attention to those.
I had no idea.
Those traits. I don't know.
I had no idea. And I wouldn't even, it's not even something that I think I'm exceptionally good at.
Yeah.
Right? But it's not, again, it's not about me being good. It's about, in the right night, getting ready to go hang out with the homies. I throw some Redman or some Mobb Deep instrumentals on. Yeah. Throw some Tribe instrumentals on. And I'm in the whip and I'm freestyling myself because I know at some point there's going to be a cypher and there's some dope MCs out there. And, so there was always that thing. And it was just like, okay, cool. Let me just make sure that I can hang. I don't got to be better than everybody. I just can't be whack because we don't do whack. But yeah, man, hip hop has always been a part and rapping has always been a part. And like I said, it's not real unless you got like 50 nicknames. You know what I'm saying? Kendrick Lamar, K. Dot, Kung Fu Kenny. You're gonna always have just multiple iterations of your name, and that's what helps people connect with you in different ways. So
100%. Yo, guys, how much time do we got left in here? 10 minutes. 10 minutes?
To wrap up.
All right, so we want to hear you rap then.
See? I think I just prophesied that because I just said the wrap up. That's funny.
I love it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pick a beat here. I hope I have something. Let's see. The nerves.
Not
that. No, that's Janet Jackson.
Give me,
you can't do Janet Jackson. I have some random stuff on here, but oh no, not that one. I had one earlier.
Throw some Mobb Deep on.
Mobb Deep on?
Yeah, throw that Mobb Deep.
Okay. Hey, that was amazing. Let's turn that down a little bit. Yeah. Hey. That was amazing.
Old man raps. I'm 46 years old, but I'm, old man raps. It's liable to come out. Get me excited, and you're going to liable to start rap. Brooklyn freestyles. It's funny, like Brooklyn. It's funny because I'll play songs for her, like, yo, these songs, Diggable Planets, Brooklyn, Talib Kweli, Most Def, Brooklyn.
I love
Kweli. So playing her all of these songs. and her hearing her name in
Yeah.
songs, and then seeing me playing my songs, some of my older songs for her, and you'll hear her in the room like rapping
Yeah.
about Roblox, and it's the funniest shit.
Aw, that's the best.
It's
So
hilarious.
I grew up with old school music, so like Commodores, Tower of Power, Earth, Wind and Fire,
Phil Collins,
Midnight Star,
Men at Work.
Yeah.
The gems.
Yeah, I have an old soul for music.
Those are the sets that
But
I love
I
to spin.
learned from my family.
Yes.
You know, just all the family parties,
Yes.
my uncles, like everybody just growing up on that music with the like 70s,
Yes.
70s. Was that the
70s, 80s,
Yeah,
70s, 80s, yeah, 70s, 80s, early 90s. And,
Yeah.
and I think that's the thing. I spun a birthday party. My homegirl Stacy called me. She was like, "Yo, can you spin this party? I can't make the date."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Sure, no problem." So I'm like, "How old are these kids?" These kids are like 13.
Yeah.
All right, okay, what are 13-year-olds listening to? So I spend all this time trying to prepare this set to go get all this pop music for these
Yeah.
kids. And one of the kids walks up to me. He's like, "Do you have any Montel Jordan?" And I'm like, "What do you know about Montel Jordan?"
Oh
And I was
my
like, "Oh, wait a
gosh.
minute! Like your mom is my age."
Yeah.
Oh, so then we did Montel Jordan. So I did 90s and 80s, and when I flipped the music,
Yeah.
one kid ran out of the house and was like, "This is the best party ever!"
Yeah.
'Cause
Everybody
his
knows that
parents
song.
were playing that stuff.
Yeah.
He grew up on that music. So
You know
it's
what's
just
funny?
awesome.
Sorry, real quick.
Get
When
it.
I was in the Bahamas, I was getting my hair braided, and this girl started singing, "This is how we do it." I said, "Oh,
That song's gonna live forever.
everybody knows this song."
That song is Montel Jordan's gonna make money off that song
crazy.
forever.
Forever.
Montel Jordan and Slick Rick.
Yeah. Oh my God. Speaking of music and generations, we were talking off air about the 90s and this documentary that we kind of both seen. I've seen partly. I think you've probably seen more of it. We were talking about the Viper Room, and since we're here in Hollywood,
Yes.
on Hollywood Boulevard,
Yes.
the Viper Room
Yes.
was a very well-known spot. And since we were speaking of social media and how people connect, that was back in the 90s, the spot where people would connect and kind of
Yes.
show off, like the
Pre-social media.
Paris Hilton.
Yes. You had a young
else?
River Phoenix, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix.
To the people who don't know, because I didn't know until I had to like Google, explain to them who River Phoenix was.
Well, back in the 90s, Johnny Depp, as his star was starting to ascend in Hollywood, there was a guy who used to play at the previous iteration of what then became the Viper Room. And so that was like one of his favorite
Spot.
musicians. So to make sure that guy
Oh,
could
okay.
keep his gig, he bought the spot.
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp
Yeah,
bought the spot.
yeah.
It became the Viper Room. All of the young, apparently the Pussycat Dolls
Yes.
was born
First-
out of the Viper Room.
Yes. Diddy, right?
I think an early Puffy. You had. They
Yeah.
said Dr. Dre was coming by.
But Diddy
Jimmy-
put them
I mean,
on there, I think.
I think.
Yeah.
Did he do? Who was it? Pussycat Dolls? I think so. Or no,
No,
Danity
it was
Kane.
Danity
Danity
Kane. I was like, there's
That
an
was Danity
older
Kane.
group that performed.
Danity Kane.
Yeah.
So River Phoenix was, I believe he is Joaquin Phoenix's older brother.
Yeah.
I think. And he unfortunately passed away outside of the
From drugs.
from a drug overdose
Yeah.
outside of the Viper Room. But Viper Room was the spot where celebrities were able to go be loose and go be free and kind of step away from the pressures of being superstars and celebrities pre-social media.
Yeah.
Right? So you could go in there and it was like, all the homies, all of your homies,
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Jennifer Aniston.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Different bands blowing up and just being able to play on stage. And my man owns the bar, so my
Yeah.
crew can come in here and we can play.
Did he work there? Someone worked there that was a movie star. I forget who they said in the documentary.
There was a cat. I'm drawing a blank on the
gosh.
name of the band, but he was the front man from a band.
Yes.
Not Counting Crows, but some band.
Yeah, something Counting Crows. Oh, we can't think of it.
I can't think of it, but anyways.
I'll edit it in.
Somebody who used to, his band had just started to blow
Yeah.
up, and he would go behind the bar and make drinks for people. And
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a Hollywood and Los Angeles, and
Yeah.
it's got a very, very, very deep and rich history, and we've got a little bit of everything out here. So much talent, so much history, so much art and culture. It's not just smog and mountains and beach and traffic. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of stories
Yeah.
that are born in this city. So a lot of culture here.
Exactly. I tried to go to the Viper Room, a few months ago?
I think it's
They're
torn down.
tearing.
They're tearing it
Yeah,
down.
yeah. So
Apartment buildings.
Yeah, it's. Oh man.
So much of our
It's
history is closing, but some
crazy.
new history will be built. So,
Yeah,
you know.
like Dash Radio, where we're at.
Right, listen, this used to be another
This is
location.
the new
This
spot where you're gonna connect to people if you're in the industry or have a podcast or have a radio show. This is where it's at. So,
It's one of the places it's going down.
Yeah, it has been a lovely day. It's been a lovely
It's been
episode.
a lovely day. Great way to wrap the show up.
I
Let's
know.
go. Look at you.
I have a music background. No, I'm just kidding.
We just met today. Like literally, I just met her today. And it's
We
like
really
she's
did.
like my best friend now.
Yeah, I think we'll do
V is
another
the plug.
episode.
V is fresh. Like that's right. This might be something.
Yeah, it might be something. I love it. It's been a great episode. Thank you for everybody tuning in with us. Is there anything you want to tell the listeners?
I want to tell the people, hit me up at Mr. Garfield Adams on Instagram and Twitter. I want to tell people, spread love, spread music, be a good person, be a good human being.
What my shirt says.
Yes, don't be a shitty human being.
Be a good one.
Someone that you know is going through some heavy shit. So reach out,
Yeah.
check in on your friends, check in on your strong people. Make sure, we got to be resources to each other. And I think if there's anything that the pandemic has taught me is someone else is going through something besides me, right? Somebody's got some shit on their shoulders. So I want to try to make myself available.
Yeah.
If I have the capacity for it,
Yeah.
right? If I've got the bandwidth for it, let me
Yeah.
try to reach out to my folks. So I encourage everyone who's listening to do the same thing.
Exactly. I love that. Thank you for everybody listening. You can find me at Be The Plug or at Be The Plug Talk, which is the page that has all my shows on it. I'm gonna be posting more. I'm trying to balance it out, but tap in with me, and you're gonna get great energy from me.
Listen, this might be a show, y'all. Thanks, man. This is
Peace.
fun. Y'all have a good
Peace.
night. We love y'all. Peace.
All right.